Hello everyone. Today we discuss about the importance of communication in leadership in MBA part 2. Effective communication is an important life skill that enables us to better understand and connect with the people around us. It allows us to build respect and trust, resolve difference, and foster environments where problem solving, caring, affection, and creative ideas can thrive. Lack of effective communication relatively leads to conflict and frustration in both professional and personal relationships. The following points that I describe right now highlights the importance of communication. Communication helps to spread knowledge and information among people. For example, authors write books to impart knowledge to the world, and teachers share their experiences with their students. Also, friends or co workers discuss their ideas with each other, and companies exchange information with their subordinates and customers also. The advent of the internet not only allows people to have better access to knowledge and information in all fields, but also makes it easier and faster to contact with people around the world. Communication is the foundation of all human relationship. At first, strangers start talking and getting to know each other, and then the relationships are formed when they have more interaction and communication. Communication helps people to express their ideas and feelings, and it at the same time helps us to understand emotion and thoughts of the others. As a result, we will develop affection or hatred toward other people, and positive or negative relationships will be created. It is no doubt that communication plays a vital role in human life. Not only helps to facilitate the process of sharing information and knowledge, but also helps people to develop relationships with others. Every day we communicate with a lot of people, including our family members, our friends, our colleagues, or even strangers. We should learn how to communicate effectively to make our lives better. Then, first, types of communication flow. So, communication can be of many types and can be summarized in a short as OVEN. WOVEN, that means oral communication, written communication or verbal communication, electronic communication, non-verbal communication. Oral and written forms of communication are the most common and frequently used forms of communication. Now, oral communication or verbal communication. Oral communication is transfer of information from sender to receiver by means of verbal and visual aid. Examples of oral communication include presentations, speeches, discussion, etc. Though the message is conveyed through words, most of the times oral communication is effectively carried out with the help of non-verbal communication like body language and tone modulations. Oral communication is also at times mixed with visual aid and help establish the conveyed message in a clear manner. So there are many benefits of oral communications. This form of communication is a quick and direct method of communication. B. It is a criticism or praise or information. It helps to convey the message immediately to the receiver. The method of communication enables in obtaining immediate feedback and hence is a form in which two-way communication can be enabled. The other main advantage of these communication method is that it helps in conveying the message with the desired pitch and tone that is needed for the message. It also saves on time in a huge way and saves enormously on effort that is spent. Oral communication is a less formal method as compared to others and hence adds a personal touch to your message. Combined with the right kind of verbal communication, oral forms can create confidence and loyalty on the sender from the receiver side. There are many ways to create and effective oral communication. It is important to ensure that the words are framed properly and are delivered in the right pitch and tone. Clarity, brevity, precision are mandatory features of an effective oral communication system. It is advisable to avoid complicated sentences and jargons so as to make sure that the message is conveyed across properly. It is an important to establish an eye contact and to module body language based on the message. For example, a strict order can be conveyed better when communicated with formal and stern body language as opposed to a casual and friendly one. Now, though it has many advantages and oral communication has its set of limitations also. This form of communication can be misinterpreted or misunderstood very easily. Communicating effectively through oral forms requires high skills and it and is not something that everyone can master. It is also not a form of communication that can be used as a form of documentary evidence. Written communication. Next to oral communication, written communication is the oldest known form of communication. Any form of communication which is written and documented from the sender to the receiver is known as written communication. Examples of written communication include letter, memos, research paper, reports, etc. It is a very concrete form of documentary evidence and can also be used for future reference purposes. As the information is written, it can be easily distributed to many people, thus making it a bulk communication method. As the information does not change from person to person, the accuracy of the information conveyed is same across the entire audience. To ensure an effective written communication form, it is must to follow completeness, clarity, and correctness in your writing, as there is no immediate feedback that can be received. It is important that written communication is detailed and accurate to ensure that the written message is communicated. Also remember to keep the communication simple and without any errors. Written communication also has its limitation like lack of feedback, absence of modulations to convey message effectively, etc. So these can be overcome effectively by mixing oral communication with written communication so as to combine the advantages of both along with eliminating the disadvantages. Communication flows in a variety of ways in an organization. Some flows are planned and structured, others are not. Some communication flows can be formally depicted, whereas some defy description. The flow of communication occurs both formally and informally. Formal communication, it is in the form of official messages and news that flow through recognized channels or routes formally laid by the organization. This communication may take place between a superior and subordinate, a subordinate and superior, or among employees at same level, or departmental messengers or managers. The formal network flow often follows a company's formal organizational chart, which is created by management to control individual and group behavior and to achieve the organization's goals. Now, formal communication refers to interchange of information officially. The flow of communication is controlled and is a deliberate effort. This makes it possible for the information to reach the desired place without any hindrance at a little cost, sent in a proper way. This is also known as through proper channel communication. The formal system is dictated by the cultural, technical, political, or economic environment of the organization. Informal communication, it is in the form of unofficial message, work related or people related, that flows outside the officially designed channel and technically called as grapevine communication, result of natural desire to communicate with each other freely and frequently. The informal network flow develops as people interact within the formal communication system, and certain behavior patterns encourage patterns that accommodate social and psychological needs because the informal network undergoes continual change. It generally cannot be depicted accurately by graphic means. Now, formal network flow, the direction in which communication flows formally within an organization may be downward, upward, horizontal, or lateral, diagonal, and external. Although the concept of flow seems simple, direction has meaning for those participating in the communication process. Now, the uh, uh, what can I say? Information, the informal network flow. So, this is the uh, communication process of a leadership in communication. Now, non-verbal communication is the process of sending and receiving messages without using words, either spoken or written, also called manual language. Non-verbal messages express true feelings more accurately than the spoken or written language. Both kinds of data can be transmitted intentionally or unintentionally. Even smile symbolize uh, friendliness in much the same way as cordially is expressed in words. Now, e communication is a common form of interaction for many people. The use of e communication allows people to internet or interact in different ways and combine many forms of media in the process. E communication makes it easier to interact with groups through chat interfaces or video conferencing. Companies use electronic communication to enhance their business and avoid obstacles such as long distance communication with their clients or patents. The internet and electronic communication, also called computer mediate communications or CMC, doesn't just mean new tools for communication, it means new ways to communicate. Today, an organization interact with its various constituents differently: employees, board members, customers, patterns, and others, depending upon the nature of the message, the goals you are trying to achieve, and strengths and weaknesses of the available media: telephones, voicemail, fax, machine, prints, etc. So, electronic communication helps us to combine numerous media, text, graphics, sound, video, etc., into a single message that can result in far more meaningful communications tailored to the nature of your particular audience. In contrast to broadcasting, narrowcasting reflects the ability to develop numerous communication for subsets of your market or constituencies. Now, levels of communication. We communicate with one another on many different levels because we do not have direct across the thoughts and feelings of other people. We must rely on communication to convey message to one another. There is more to communication than simply using language to speak to one another. Communication exists on a number of levels and in a variety of forms. Communication can involve sending messages to both large and small audiences. Internal message are linked for recipients within the organization. External messages are directed to recipients outside the organization. On when considering the intended audience, communication can be described as taking place on 5 levels, that is, interpersonal, inter personal, group, organizational, and public. Interpersonal communication, so it is within oneself because it does not involve a separate sender and receiver. Some do not consider intrapersonal and interpersonal two different communication. So, however, believe that intrapersonal communication, when conceived of as the degree of our self awareness, is an important foundation of effective communication. Accurate perception of ourselves and understanding of how others see us is the first building block of effective communication. Self awareness is generally achieved through self reflection or what might be thought of as interpersonal communication. Now, interpersonal communication, it is the communication that occur between two people. Its goal are to accomplish the task and to help the participants to feel better about themselves and each other because of their interaction. Examples of interpersonal communication include that occurring between a supervisor and subordinate and that occurring between two co-workers. Now group communication, it occurs among more than two people, generally in a small group. It's the goal of group communication to achieve greater output through the collaboration of several individuals, then could be produced through individual efforts. So, organizational communication is generally involves large groups of working together. Public communication, this type of communication is methods to help the organization to reach out to its public to achieve its external communication goals. Now, effective listening. Listening is a significant part of communication process. Communication cannot take place until and unless a message is heard and retained thoroughly and positively by the receivers, listeners. Listening is a dynamic process. Listening means attentiveness and interest perceptible in the posture as well as expressions. Listening implies decoding, that is, translating the symbols into meaning and interpreting the message correctly in communication process. So that's the end of the video, my friends. If you like my MBA blogs, please subscribe and share it. And also, if you want to know something about a MBA, please comment on my blogs. Thanks you.